everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jessalyn Tester from thatchristianmom.com. If you're new here, you will find lots of videos where I share my love for online marketing and how you can successfully work from home. And then I also tend to share a lot about my personal faith. So if either or both of these things are of interest to you, make sure you hit the subscribe button and click the bell for notifications to be informed of new weekly videos. Now, truth be told, I actually had another video that was completed and ready for upload last week when on Wednesday, the New York abortion law was announced that it had passed. And my world was rocked, and I do mean rocked. For a couple of days, I had to sort through a plethora of emotions. I was very angry, I was shocked, frustrated, I was grieving, my heart was aching. And then eventually I arrived at joy, which may confuse some, but I'm gonna get to that here in just a moment. Social media definitely did not provide me any peace because my timeline was flooded with everyone voicing their opinions about this. With that, there was also a lot of inaccurate information that was being put out there as well. It was definitely a challenging and enlightening time for me spiritually to see just how far from God we have grown and just how lost as a nation we have become. So let me just first say this for anyone that does not know or is not aware, just so it's crystal clear where I stand. I do not support abortion in any way, shape, or form, be that 6 weeks or 6 months. It is murder. It is taking away an innocent child's life. This is my stance because I believe this is God's stance. He is the creator. He is the one that gives us life, and he is the only one that has a right to take that life away. And I know that there are many people who do not share my beliefs, and that's okay. But even putting aside religious beliefs, I don't understand morally, just on a moral compass, how this is something that anybody could justify. The one argument that I did anticipate to see a lot more of was those who support abortion in cases of rape, that an unplanned pregnancy takes place due to a rape. And statistics actually show that less than 1% of women who have an abortion due to rape. But I just assumed that people would use that, the pro-choice people would use that as their reasoning for justifying an abortion. But from what I gathered, a lot of people just feel that they should have the choice to do whatever they want to do with their bodies, and that if having a child inconveniences their life in any way, that they should have a choice to terminate that pregnancy. And all of these people, by the way, are very much alive and breathing and were not aborted by their own mothers. But they do have a choice. They do have a choice to remain abstinent. They do have a choice to give a child up for adoption. I just don't believe that they should have a choice to take away another innocent person's life. And I do find it very confusing, furthermore, that this is the same state that does not allow capital punishment of a convicted criminal, but they do allow the killing of an innocent unborn baby. Maybe I'm just crazy, but that logically makes zero sense to me.
That don't make no sense.
Others chose to support this bill or said that it wasn't a big deal because they believe that the bill only allows abortion in cases where the mother's health is at risk physically or medically, or if the fetus is no longer viable. And I'm sorry to say that these people just did not educate themselves. They did not do their research and read the actual bill. They did not see what was revised and repealed from the bill, and instead they resorted to Google to just find some article on the internet listed by a news source. And if they had done so, if they had read the bill, they would have seen the very vague language and verbiage that was used, and how it in no way protects an innocent child, even all the way up until the day of birth, from being aborted if the woman feels that she is mentally or emotionally at risk. Statistics show that prior to this bill passing, that an estimated 55%, only just a little bit over half, of abortions are considered safe. And I can only guess that now that physicians' assistants and midwives are considered qualified to perform an abortion, that number is going to significantly decrease. Fortunately, a lot of doctors and gynecologists have spoken up and spoken out against this law and said that an abortion this late in pregnancy is never medically necessary, and that at this point, if there was a health risk physically, that they would simply deliver the child early. And while we might want to assume that women are rational enough to not have an abortion over an early delivery, then why would we even open the door to allow for them to do so? Why do they have any other alternative now? That's exactly what this bill has opened up the door to. And it begs the question, if a woman feels that she is distressed from a 1-year-old or a 10-year-old, what next might we allow her to do? We really do have to have clear, defined laws in place. Otherwise, we are only asking for chaos. Like I said, it's been very challenging for me to personally understand how anyone could justify having an abortion. I am a mother. I have 2 children myself, and they are precious, wonderful gifts. One of them was unplanned, and he did come with medical complications for both my health and his, but abortion was never considered or even mentioned. So after a few days of crying about this and praying over this, I was reading my Bible and my mind kept getting distracted, so I kept reading the same verse over and over and over again. And it was from 1 Peter 1:8. And this is what it says: "Though you have not seen him, you love him. And even though you do not see him now, you believe in him and are filled with an inexpressible and glorious joy." That's when I realized, that's when the reality set in, that the enemy had been using this event to keep me stuck in my emotions, to keep me stagnant and ineffective for Christ. God wants us to know that even though these events are sad and they are frustrating, and even though it may feel defeating, God is definitely not defeated. He has a plan that will and must come to pass, and these things should bother us as Christians, but we can't allow for these things to be a way that the enemy tricks us into acting or behaving in a way that's not honoring to God. And we shouldn't allow him to lie to us and tell us that things are now hopeless. We still have a mission. We need to not only pray and boldly speak his truth, no matter what or who that may cost us, but we also need to take action. Things are only going to get harder. God has to separate the wheat from the chaff, and now is the time for us to rise up and move our feet out of love and obedience to him. So I'm going to share with you 7 helpful tips that can assist us to moving towards that mission, to getting more active. But if you're watching this and you've been struggling with this also, I just want you to know that you're not alone, and that if you ever need to reach out and ask for prayer, I want to encourage you to definitely reach out to me and do so. Like I said, it's supposed to bother us. That's a normal emotion. However, we cannot let those emotions consume us or keep us stuck. And I want to encourage you also, just as I had to do, to pray and ask the Lord to fill you with an inexpressible and glorious joy so that you can still be a blessing to others that he places in your path. I spoke in my last video how I believe that the biggest problem in the church today is not about us talking the talk, and it's more about us walking the walk. There are a lot of keyboard warriors, as I like to call them, out there today, but we do need to get much more involved than that. So if the New York abortion law passing has grieved you as much as it has me, here are some helpful tips that can help you to also serve in this area. Get informed on the issue. Know what is going on in your local community, your state, the country, and even the world. Is there an abortion clinic or crisis pregnancy center in your neighborhood? Is there an election coming up? You can visit the National Right to Life Committee's website, as well as the Susan B. Anthony list and prolife.com for more information. Research candidates and discover their pro-life positions so you know who you are supporting and who is leading you. And once you know who they are, assist in electing these pro-life candidates. Christians must vote and use their voices through voting opportunities. You can also support pro-life candidates by making donations, volunteering to make phone calls, or go door knocking on their behalf. They need good volunteers. You can even run for office as a pro-life candidate if you feel you are called to do so and have the abilities to take up the position. Volunteer at pregnancy centers in your area, helping provide women and families with alternatives to abortion. You can visit CareNet or Heartbeat International to find a facility near you. You can also support these centers and many other pro-life organizations through financial contributions. Participate in the Next 40 Days for Life campaign and proactively pray to end abortion. Work in your neighborhood, schools, church, and community to help in various programs and institutions that are already working to end abortion. If need be, you can take the initiative to start one if there isn't one in your area. Attend pro-life events that will inform you and encourage you and others to continue to fight tirelessly. Share your knowledge and experience with others in a logical and clear manner. Abort 73 is a website with a lot of facts and arguments against abortion. Links to the various websites and resources that I've just mentioned will all be listed down in the description below. I've also listed a link to a petition to have Congress overturn the abortion law and help save babies. This petition needs 100,000 signatures in the next 30 days in order to get the attention of Congress and the president. So please be sure to sign it and share it with others that you know today. You can also join many Facebook groups that support the pro-life mission as well. And again, I just urge you to not only educate yourself, but to do something, to get involved. You are not insignificant. We all play a role, and one day we will all be held accountable for the things that we chose to do and not do with our time here. So as I end this and as we hopefully move towards this mission, let us remember what the Bible says in 1 Chronicles 28:20. Be strong and courageous and do the work. Do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord my God is with you. He will not fail you or forsake you until all the work for the service of the temple of the Lord is finished. As always, I would love to hear your thoughts on this, so feel free to comment them below. If you like this video, make sure that you give it a thumbs up. You're free to share it as well if you feel led to, and don't forget to subscribe before you go. I thank you guys for watching. I love you all. God bless you all, and I'll see you next time.